LinkedIn. I am Tegan Bartos, and today I am going to be the job search elf. I have a very exciting guest with me, Jeff Young, the LinkedIn guru, and we are going to do not a 30-minute edition this Tuesday morning, but a 1-hour LinkedIn training for job seekers. So if you are tuning in, go ahead and add where you're tuning in from. If you're catching in this on replay, go ahead and put hashtag replay so we can follow up with you in case you had any questions after the fact. And if you do have a question while you're watching this training today, definitely make sure you put it in the chat. You can bold question so that way we can make sure that we don't miss it in all the comments. And without further ado, I am going to bring in my very special guest. Good morning, Jeff. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Namaste, Tegan. I've been looking forward to this for a very long time. Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining me. I am so excited. It's a week where people are winding down. So it'll be a good time for us to maybe give them some things to think about once they're refreshed from this break, because most companies have off at least part of this week and some even next week. So Jeff, for those of the members in the audience who for some crazy reason might not know you, could you please introduce yourself so they know why they should listen to you?
Well, again, first of all, thank you for the opportunity to teach. I can't tell you how much that I enjoy watching your stuff and watching the posts that you do. So that's extremely important as well. And I love being able to collaborate with another person who likes to focus on job seekers, because about 60% of the 65 seminars that I've done this year have been focused on job seekers. So I love doing that. So I am Jeff Young, the LinkedIn guru. Namaste. Okay. I didn't call myself that. They call me the LinkedIn guru because a friend of mine actually came up to me at one point in one of the times that I was doing a LinkedIn seminar, and he shook his finger at me and he said, "Hey, you know what, Jeff, you're a real guru at this." And I went, "Guru? Yeah. I really kind of like the sound of that one." And so I looked up guru in the dictionary, and it fit me to a T, which, by the way, I think is appropriate because the meaning of the word guru is teacher. Okay. And so I've been a teacher most of my life. I love teaching LinkedIn now for the last 14 years, I guess it has been. Okay. So I also sometimes introduce myself by saying, "Hi, I'm Jeff Young. I'm a teacher. What's your superpower?"
Yay!
Okay? There we go. Let's get that out of the way right away. Stop this rolling on LinkedIn. Yeah. Okay, so that's me. I've got stuff out there on my profile that I want people to go look at, and I do this. I do free LinkedIn seminars. I get paid in 3 C's: coffee, conversation, and occasionally chocolate. By the way, Chardonnay is a really good C, in case you didn't know. So all of those C's, and I get paid in clicks. I get paid in comments. I get paid in compliments. It all works for me. And sometimes I get paid in a comment that says, "Oh, I didn't know it could do that," as far as LinkedIn is concerned. So I'm going to hopefully show you a few things you didn't know today.
Yes. I, without a doubt, know we are going to learn something. So we've got some of the chats visible behind the scenes, some of the chats visible on my cell. So we've got Sandy tuning in. Hey, Sandy from Nebraska. We've got Jeff from Texas. Yvonne, where are we coming in from? California. We've got our homegirl, Lauren.
Oh, yes. I saw that comment. I love it when you do that.
I know. That's Superman. It speaks volumes. So we've got a job search elf and the LinkedIn Superman today. So if you are watching, you are in good hands. So Jeff, I want to dive. Oh, we just keep getting more and more people coming in. So awesome. Good morning, David from Michigan. If any of you have any questions, know any new tricks up your sleeves, definitely leave a comment and let's get these conversations going, because this is for you. And so we want to make sure we're serving you to the best of our abilities. And so we actually want to dive into the juicy stuff, the hidden LinkedIn features that is going to help you turn your job search around, because LinkedIn is a powerful resource when it comes to networking, finding a job, or building global friendships. I mean, if it wasn't for LinkedIn, I would have never become friends with Jeff. And I mean, I've always admired his work, but it was when the message feature came out, it was let's do a video message. And it's so different than just, other ways of networking locally, because you can meet so much of a global or expanded network. So Jeff, how do you want to start? What secrets do you have? What hidden gems do you have for us this morning?
Well, let's show people a few things that they might not know existed. First of all, there's one thing that didn't exist until this morning. I'm going to share my screen. And we got to start with this, okay? LinkedIn is this big, huge thing that is out there, and there's 800 million of our closest friends on LinkedIn, and it is a software program that is network-based and app-based for mobile apps and those kind of things. So, and by the way, what I'm going to show you is going to be on the desktop today. Okay, if we really try, I might be able to show you something on the phone, but I don't use the phone for most of what I do because I find it more effective to do on a desktop, especially since some of the things I'm going to show you can't do on a phone. Okay, so first of all, let's talk about that big, huge software program that is out there for 800 million users. And some of what I might show you might not look the same to you because they're still rolling stuff out as far as the new screen layouts.
I've got the dated one. I still haven't gotten the new version.
You've gotten the old one still? Wow.
Yep. So like on my skills, it's still the gray plus, where like on the new version it says
dashboard, which most people don't even have a dashboard anymore. I'll show you that there's no dashboard anymore. It's there, but it's got the analytics and those kind of things, but it's disappeared as far as. And as a matter of fact, speaking of which, one of the things that we want to make sure job seekers understand is that you need to be an all-star on LinkedIn in order to get found. People who are all-star, designation all-star on LinkedIn, that's LinkedIn's designation for what they call a complete profile. Well, what that really means is if you filled in the right 7 blanks, okay, you've got a complete profile and you're an all-star on LinkedIn. What doesn't even show in the new version, okay? But what will show is the suggestion of what you should do next. And I make sure that you take LinkedIn's advice as far as that's concerned until you get at least those 7 things. And I won't go through all 7 of the things. It would take too long. But just follow LinkedIn's advice. Make sure that you got an about section. Make sure that you've got a profile photo. And interesting lead in to profile photo, okay? Because that's what I'm going to share, and I'm going to show you what went away this morning for every person I've looked at on LinkedIn.
LinkedIn, let's get it together.
It's nuts. It's nuts. So let me share.
Good morning,
right
David.
Over to the screen, okay? And I'm going to bring up Tegan.
Kelly.
So I'm going to bring up Tegan.
All right, let's add us on here.
All right, so it shows that we are actually doing our thing here, okay? That's the LinkedIn Live. But notice what happened to your photo. Your photo's gone. And it is true for every single person. I'll pick on Lauren. Lauren loves it when I pick on her. Okay. All right, so I'm going to pick on Lauren. I'm going to go to Lawrence. She's got a cover story. Okay, the cover story actually starts to try to play, but then the picture goes boink and will be nothing. So I can still see Lauren's.
Hey, it's Lauren, founder of Portfolio
cover story, but when I look at her profile photo, it's not there anymore, which is really, really strange. There is a glitch out there, folks. There's something going on. So you don't want to go there. You want to be there. It even happened to me. Mine is gone as well. So it looks like it's there. Okay, there's my, there was my profile photo, but now it's back. Okay, now what I did was I actually uploaded my new profile photo to make sure that it was there. Okay, so I re-uploaded it. So I don't know whether they're making you do that or not. Maybe it'll come back. Do you think so?
I mean, they're going to have to fix it because otherwise it's going to take away from people wanting to upload videos.
I fixed it by doing this because I wanted to show you one of the hidden features behind your LinkedIn profile photo. You got to have one. It's important. It needs to be you and only you. There's a rule of thumb that says your face should actually take up about 60% of that circle so that it shows up better on a small device like a phone or something along those lines. People can actually see you, okay? And that shows, you know, and that way you don't have a ghost hand on your shoulder, which is really bugging me when I see those, okay? Because you cropped that photo from someplace else, okay? So you and only you, and a professional photo probably doesn't want to, you know, this is not Facebook, so you and your kitty cat Fluffy belong over there instead of on here in a LinkedIn profile photo. And oh, by the way, that is, unless of course you actually own a cat food business, then you can have your cat with you because that's a part of your brand. Okay. Here's a hidden feature that a lot of people don't realize can be turned off, and they might not have turned it off themselves. If you click your profile photo and you edit your profile photo, you want to make sure that this button down here says public, because it could be only showing to your connections, and you want to show your picture to everyone who comes to your profile. So make it public, or at least all LinkedIn members. But I like it public because of the fact that it says nobody even has to be signed into LinkedIn to see your profile photo then. So that's one that I want to make sure people understand. That's one that they should make sure of. And I see that all the time, by the way, on LinkedIn Lives. Okay, a lot of people on LinkedIn Live don't have their profile photo showing. Okay, and so that could be a problem. Okay. Okay. I'll pause for a second. Any questions before I go on?
We were asked, what are the 7 things that need to be filled in to be a LinkedIn All-Star? And anyone who would like the additional information, send me a DM saying that you want my LinkedIn SOPs. It'll be all there, but I'm sure Jeff can run them down for you now as well.
Yeah, there's 7 different things. The profile, the background, by the way, banner, this thing up here at the top is not one of them. It's your profile photo. You've got to have a name. You've got to have a location. You've got to have at least one current job. You've got to have an about section. Okay, so your about section has to be filled in. Okay, so your summary or about section. Oh, guess what? That just disappeared.
What disappeared?
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Oh,
I'm sorry. It shows below now for me. It shows above when everybody looks at me. But you got to do your about section. You have to have at least one current. You have to have at least, I think it's at least 5 skills. Okay. And what did I miss? Did I miss anything?
Okay, so we've got the profile photo, about section, skills section. What, headline?
Headline. Yep. And again, at least one current job as well.
Okay.
Now, people stumble on that one, so I'll mention that right now. If you don't have a current job, if you're in the job search, this is focused on job seekers. So people come up to me all the time, so well, I don't have a current job. And my answer to that is yes, you do. You have the job that you're looking for. So that's the job that you should put in your current experience and say you're working to get that kind of job, and make sure that ticks the box that says I have a current position, and explain it and put keywords in it as much as you can so that people will find you for that particular job as well.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. I love that tip.
Skills is the other
so
one. Skills, you've got to have at least 5 skills. Okay.
Profile photo, about section, skills section, headline, one current job.
It's location and well, and I can't show it anymore because it doesn't show. I was looking at my phone because it won't show on my phone either because it's got the new version. Yeah. So anyway, and the point is, if you don't have, I don't remember all of them out off the top of my head. It's been a while since I went through them all because I've been an all-star forever. And that's my point as well. All-star, just do what LinkedIn suggests next, and that will get you to being an all-star. And they'll tell you when you become one.
Perfect.
But that's the complete quote-unquote profile. The next thing you need to do is you need to optimize your profile. And optimizing your profile is something you do by putting keywords in it. There are 3 things that are important in real estate: location, location, location. Okay. There are 3 things that are important on your LinkedIn profile: keywords, keywords, keywords. Okay. So the point being is that's what's going to get you found. And while we're on that subject, let's talk about that from a job seeker perspective. Here are the 4 areas. There are 4 areas that actually are being searched on a normal basis. Okay. The 4 areas are your headline.
Yep.
Your about section.
Okay.
So your headline and your about section, your experience section, okay, will get searched. And so that means that, it's important for you to put keywords in here as well that would help you get found, and your skills section. Now you can put any skill you want to out there, but your skills should come from LinkedIn's database, because that helps you when you enter a skill to get found better, because their skills are indexed better than just any old skill.
And Jeff, let me just add real quickly, for recruiters, some recruiters don't have access to LinkedIn Recruiter. So they do have to use the search bar to source talent that way. And there's other ways to do it as well. But those sections, headline, about section, experience, and skills, those show on LinkedIn Recruiter. The headline shows up, the experience section shows up, the skills show up, and the tenure shows up. And then they actually have to click a couple of steps to get to the about section. But if recruiters are shortlisting you, they will be reading your about section. So like Jeff said, don't skip there.
No, don't skimp on that. And as a matter of fact, one of the new and different looks for the new version of the profile layout is that it used to be that you only had three lines that would actually show in your about section. They've actually increased that. Now there are actually 4 lines that actually show before someone has to actually click see more. Okay. So, and I introduce folks to my buddy Seymour, okay, all the time on LinkedIn, because LinkedIn loves to keep things small and short. But Seymour is always something that you should look at and make sure you take a look at. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Now let's talk about a couple of other things that don't normally show up. And again, these are browser functions because they're links. Okay. One of the things that people don't realize that they could do, and this is a shortcut for people who know how, is that if I want to go, I'm going to illustrate this on yours, okay, instead of on mine. I'm going to bring this up so this will show us in the background here, but and there'll be a lag. But one of the things that people can do is if they want to go directly to your experience section, they don't have to scroll down. All they ever have to do is click your experience, your first job up here, and it takes them directly to the experience section. It's a link. Okay. There's another one. If they want to see your education, they click on the education you got up at the top, and boom, it takes them directly to the education section. So those are really great things to make sure you understand. And because it's in a browser, those things are there. And that's another thing that is extremely important in a browser. If you've got someone that you really want to see their content at all times, then what you really should do is you should bookmark their content. So let me show you what I've done as an example. Is my screen big enough for you to see? Is it okay?
Yes. Yep.
All right, good. Okay, so what I've done is under LinkedIn, I've put some bookmarks in here. I've saved some people, one of which includes 𝐘𝐨𝐮 Bartos, okay? And 𝐘𝐨𝐮, whenever I click on this, it takes me directly to 𝐘𝐨𝐮's posts. So I went here once, I saved that as a bookmark, and now I can get back there like that. I can go to your post anytime I want to. There's a way of telling LinkedIn that you want to see somebody's stuff by actually interacting with it on your homepage feed. But this is for sure, I'm going to be able to go see exactly what's going on and what your most recent posts were. So there's a day ago, there's a day ago, there's a day ago, there's 4 days ago, etc. I can scroll right back through all of that kind of stuff.
So for Sandy, what he's saying right now is, if there's a content creator that you enjoy following or a company that you enjoy following, you can bookmark their activity so you can have easy access to it. So a job search strategy that I teach is that spend a certain amount of time on LinkedIn engaging, because then through commenting and posting and things like that, you can use your thought leadership to get your name out there more. And so if there's certain industry experts in your field, or just people that you enjoy engaging with, or target companies, or companies that you're targeting that regularly create posts, you want to be engaging on their content. So a way to cut down time. So instead of going through your news feed or typing everything out, save time by bookmarking it. Jeff just showed you how to bookmark it on his home screen. And I like to use a Trello board because then that's just my way of doing it. Figure out whatever works for you organization wise. And then that way you can go and engage with these people's content. So you're most likely to see it.
Yep.
And then David, yeah, when you're sharing your screen, that's about as big as it gets for that. So Jeff, if your screen does get any bigger,
yeah,
maybe
sure.
do it a little bit bigger.
That's why I asked. I know I can bring it up to about 125% or so. Does that help?
All right, Sandy, David, let me know if that helps. Also, Marty, so glad to see you this morning. Jeff, Marty says, good morning. We've got a bunch of people in here. So for everybody I missed shout outs to, good morning. So great to see you. If you have a question, just go ahead and drop it in. Yep. That'll be fantastic. Okay, so we've talked about, for those of you just joining, we've talked about how to reach all-star status, which makes you searchable on LinkedIn. We talked about the fact that LinkedIn is an algorithm based on keywords, keywords, keywords. We've talked about how to make your profile photo public, the fact that LinkedIn is glitching right now and not showing the profile photo. Jeff mediated this issue by uploading his photo again, problem solved. And we talked about the different areas where you want to utilize keywords. Your job titles, for example, if you've got a quirky job title, you may want to put the job title that's transferable in there as well. We talked about the skills section to make sure that you're using the skill from LinkedIn's drop down box. Putting it in your about section as well as your headline are all weighted higher on LinkedIn's algorithm. So hey, Gabe, good morning. All right, Jeff, so what hidden feature are we talking about next?
All right, so let's talk about a hidden feature that is actually something that's important for more than one thing. For one thing, a lot of people don't realize this is over here. They should go there all the time. If you look under me for yourself and you click me up in the top, you should go to settings and privacy and you should check these out. I'm going to show you one in particular, though, that could save your butt. It saved my butt many times, okay? So under settings and privacy, okay, go to data privacy. And all of by the way, this is something that I know because someone else told me. I'm the guru, but I just listen to people who are also experts and they share good stuff with me. There are only 287 different settings here that you could make a difference in. So it might take you a little while to go through them all. But
that's a lot.
But 200, yeah, only 287. And it may be more than that now. I mean, LinkedIn's always adding stuff. So the point being is take a look at them, figure out what those are that are important to you, and then go walk through them every once in a while. But here's one I want to give you. Okay. Go to settings and privacy. This one could save you tons of time later on, okay? Go to settings and privacy, click on data privacy, and then I want you to pay particular close attention to this one. Okay. Get a copy of your data. Folks, you're building a house on rented ground. You can control your data, but LinkedIn has your data. It's in the cloud. So if you want to get a copy of your data so that you can actually manipulate that data or actually back it up, and maybe in case you, whoops, oh no, I just blew in my about section and I don't remember what I had in there, okay? You could recover your about section by getting a copy of your data and then going to that copy of your data later on. So let me show you how it works. Click on get a copy of your data, and then you can pick and choose individualized things to request an archive of your data. But what I recommend is that every once in a while, and I recommend that you do this at least once a month. I do it every 2 weeks if I'm going to do something that I've done a lot of updates to my profile and I want to make sure I don't lose any of those updates. I go download the larger archive and then click request archive. That's what it takes to get. Now, when you do that, well, I might as well do it. It won't hurt me to go ahead and do another backup. When I request archive, what it will ask me is for my password. So I won't share my password because it doesn't share it even on the screen. Okay. And then I click done. It says request pending saved. Okay. Now what that means is I just requested to LinkedIn that they give me a copy of my data. What's going to happen within the next 10 minutes is that I'm going to get a subset of my data that is the first stuff that they can take care of and give me right away. So in 10 minutes, I'm going to get an email from LinkedIn to the email that I've established for my account. And it's going to say, here, click this link and go download this portion. Okay. Then in 24 hours, I'm going to get another link that is the full archive of my data with the same link. I can go in and then I can download those. And I download those two things as two separate zip files. And then I go grab that data whenever I want to look at that data or get that data. And there's a whole bunch of stuff that's in there that you wouldn't really realize that is in there. Okay. I mean, it's just tons of stuff. Now I'm not
Is this in terms of the connections?
I'll show you what the zip file looks like. Okay?
No,
just trust me, it is 30 or 40 different pieces of information, different files in what is called a comma separated value. It's an Excel file, .csv, inside that zip file, so that you can actually get access to that. And it's a spreadsheet, so you can actually manipulate the data if you want to out there as well. Some people use that, for example, to go look at the messages that they've done and see who they messaged last and how many times they've messaged the person and all that, so that they can use it as follow-up to the people that they really want to continue to follow up with on a regular basis. Okay.
It's also great for downloading your connections. So that way you can, when you're creating a target networking list, when you're first starting off your job search, you can see who's employed where, potentially email them if they're not very active if somebody's not very active on LinkedIn, chances are their email address is still on there. So you could email them if they're not responding via LinkedIn. So that is absolutely a great resource to show. So before we move on, we've got two questions. The first one I'll go ahead and answer. It's the header photo. All right. So in regards to your header photo, when you're a job seeker, pictures speak 1,000 words. So I like to keep them kind of clean with your name, your job title, your tagline, maybe a couple of key skills that you like that are important to your job, and keep it clean. I use 𝐾ANVA.com to make them. Any of you who want access to my LinkedIn SOPs, go ahead and DM me now. I'll send them to you. The LinkedIn banner on Canva, there's two different options in terms of size. You want to use the smaller option so it fits perfectly in this square. And then when you're creating it, you want to make sure that any written text is more so over to the right, because your picture pops up bigger on the mobile version than the desktop version. You don't necessarily need another picture of yourself on your banner photo because you already have your headline photo on there. And if you want example, there's thousands of them on Canva. So definitely be sure to check that out. Hopefully that answers your question. And then Jeff, I do not do LinkedIn newsletters because I spend so much time on other people's profiles, but Gabe has an incredible question. I forget your statistics on your newsletter, but you are crushing. I mean, your newsletters are so engaging, so educational. You have thousands of followers for your newsletter. So Gabe says, how can I extend the reach of my newsletter?
How can I what?
Extend the reach of my newsletter.
Expand it?
Yep. Or extend. How can I extend the reach of my newsletter? So how do you grow followers or subscribers to your newsletter?
Okay. Well, Gabe, I know I'm a subscriber to your newsletter. Obviously, you have a newsletter page. Here's my newsletter page. Okay. The cool part about it is that, for example, you know, when you go to your own or you go to anyone else's newsletter page, okay, which, by the way, you can get access to by actually going to their articles and finding it. Here's another bookmark I've got, right? But if you're interested in finding my newsletter or Gabe's, okay, what you need to do is you need to go to the person's profile, okay? Scroll down to where it says see all activity, okay? So that's down underneath featured see all activity down here. If you click on see all activity, then that will bring up this page, which has 4 buttons that you can press, and you need to click articles. Clicking articles will take you to the first of their articles. And if it is a newsletter, when you open it, you will see the subscribe button. Okay. Now, by the way, since it's my newsletter, and Gabe, if you, in your newsletter, you can actually see your actual subscribers. You can't get access to them. You do not have their email. There's no chance. I like this actually, because there's no chance of anybody actually ever using that email to spam anybody. But it's a long list of 24,800, as you can see here, people who have subscribed to my newsletter. So those are just the people that are there. Now, the point being, though, is that when I'm back on my newsletter page, and see, that was just the article. Okay, yep. My newsletter page can be gotten to by actually clicking on by clicking on the newsletter name. There we go, and it takes me to my newsletter page. So, Gabe, one of the things I would recommend is that you do a post about your newsletter, because that'll go out to the people that are in your network, but it'll also go out to anybody that might also see that post as well. So if I click a share here, I can actually send that in a post. I can share that in a post. I can share that in a message. Okay, I can actually just copy the link to my newsletter and put it in a post someplace else, or in an email someplace else if I wanted to actually send it via email, etc. So there's lots of ways of getting the information about your newsletter out there, and that's why I've saved that link so many times. So I tell you, newsletters are great. I get an average of 6,000 views every time I do a newsletter. I publish a newsletter monthly because I don't believe that I can publish quality content in a newsletter any more frequently than that. But it is a great tool, even again, especially if you want to be a content creator. Okay, yeah. Folks don't have to create content, but it's a good way to do so.
And it is. And for job seekers who are tuning in, you don't have to worry about creating a newsletter or anything like that. But I do recommend, if you have something to say, consider posting or even creating an article, because articles are work SEO with Google searches. So if somebody's Googling your name, they're likely to see a LinkedIn article that you've published. And so that adds to the credibility of your experience within your field. And it's also something that you can feature at the top of your profile to jazz your profile up a bit, make it more engaging. And if you eventually have a collection, for those of you, for creatives tuning in who maybe have a portfolio, you can also add, like a blog section and repurpose your blogs with articles and tie that into your contact information, which I actually need to update, because I just learned that under your contact information, you can edit your website or portfolio to have a different description next to it. So Jeff, thank you for that tip.
No, that's a great lead in. Now, actually, there's something else in the contact information that I'd like to show folks.
Yes, let's do it.
All right. So contact information is one of those things where obviously you've added. So one of the things you can do, you actually get up to 3 websites here. So you can point to your blog, you can point, et cetera. Oh, one of the other things that I would suggest here, okay, as an example, under websites, as an example, Tegan, you just took the default pull down that said this is your company website.
I sure
did. If you actually go in there and use the pull down that says other, you can call this anything you want and show something else to people. I'll show it to you on mine in just a second. But by the way, that includes your phone number. People can see your email because I'm connected with Tegan. Okay, but here's one that most people didn't realize that you cannot do on the mobile phone, but you can, or the app, but you can do here, and that is you can check to see exactly when you connected with someone, if you're a first-degree connection, and that's the date, the actual date that you and I connected. Okay.
Oh, so that's cool.
Yep, that's another little hidden feature as well. So I can go look. I can go look and I can see, that I've been connected with Kevin Turner, for example. I'm going to give Kevin a shout out because Kevin is Mr. LinkedIn What's New, okay? And I've been connected under his. So see, he also changed this so that he put TNT Brand Strategist there and Turnaround Consulting there, and then November 18th, 2019 is when So he and I have been connected for over 2 years, okay? And on mine, let me show you how it works. When you go in and you edit that contact information, okay, which you are able to do by clicking contact information and then clicking the edit, okay. If you click edit, and on those websites, if you use the pull down that says other, instead of company, etc., you can put what you want to that to be called right there in type the other. So I've said this first one is my LinkedIn free seminars. The next one's on my honors and awards. And here's a link to my LinkedIn Guru tip of the week as an example. Okay.
Awesome.
So that's the way it shows here. Yeah.
Yes. So for job seekers, a lot of times job seekers don't have portfolios, but so often people are creating portfolios. So like Jeff has to, his tip of the week, that may be something you revert them back to, something potentially on LinkedIn if you don't have anything outside of LinkedIn, something that you've done that you've proud on that you want to draw someone's attention to. So lots of ways to get creative with some of the features on LinkedIn that aren't necessarily for its original intended use. I mean, it's still it's an option to have a link there, so use it to your advantage, whatever you think would be most advantageous for your job search.
Well, in the contact information, that's one of those places where you can get a little creative like that. You just mentioned that, so I thought I'd bring it up. Folks may notice here, I showed this as a link earlier, but you notice that this is actually my newsletter. This is the education portion. Okay. So what I decided to do is to utilize the education portion of this slightly differently to highlight and focus on my newsletter. So when I click on this, it actually takes me down to the education section. But the education section, the first thing in there is LinkedIn Guru Gazette. And here is a link that I tell people to copy and paste. And you can then go directly to my LinkedIn newsletter if you find that. See? So it's another way of pointing someone at something you want to highlight.
And before you click back, go back for a second, Jeff.
Oh, sure. I'm sorry. Yeah.
You've got all your hashtags there. So how does someone follow a hashtag?
Ah, okay. Well, where are you talking about hashtags?
So
listing?
See down on the left-hand corner of your screen
down
where it
here?
says followed
Okay.
hashtags?
Yeah, exactly.
Another way to follow people's content, in addition to for you to engage on, to get your name out there, in addition to bookmarking it or adding it to a Trello board or however you say organize with your job search strategy, is to follow certain hashtags. And so if you're looking for a particular hashtag, or you could create one for yourself, and every post that you make or every comment that you make could have that hashtag. But you can also follow other people's hashtags so like if a company that you're hoping to work with has a hashtag, you want to make sure you follow it. So every single time they post, it ends up in your newsfeed just in case you miss something.
Yes. And you can, and again, that's like a bookmark, only it's for the content that is underneath that hashtag. So it might not be all of their content, but it will be content that utilizes that particular hashtag. So the way I find that is you can either go to someone else, someone else's post, like I'm doing here. I'd saved you, so I'm going to go save you, and then I'm going to look at the hashtags that you normally use. Okay. Jolt your career as an example. If you want to follow any hashtag, just find the hashtag elsewhere on their profile or on LinkedIn. And if you click on the hashtag, it will bring it up with a follow button. So I highly recommend that you all go out there and do what I just did. Find one of Tegan's posts, click on Jolt Your Career, and then click the follow button. Okay. So that way you'll be able to follow that hashtag anytime you want to. And when I do that, it will then show up as in a followed hashtag down here. Okay.
Yep.
And you can always get to that kind of stuff separately. It shows there on any page. It also shows up under My Network. Under My Network, here are all the things that I have actually followed, including 26 hashtags, as an example. So in order to get back to one of the ones that I just followed, all I have to do is go to My Network, click on hashtags, and there, all I got to do is Jolt Your Career, and now I'm back to that content again. Okay, so it's another way of getting back to it. It's just more links. And hashtags are important. And let me talk about that for a second, because hashtags are extremely important when it comes to having your own branded hashtag. This is one of, if not the, Tegan's branded hashtag. I mean, her organ, when you go to Tegan, obviously she's got a company called Jolt Your Career. So she's also got a hashtag that is Jolt Your Career. So that brands her and puts that content out there so that people can find it easier, not only on LinkedIn, but I'll tell you what, it ends up getting indexed in Google, and that's important as well. Okay. So
Because
here's
the
what I'm going to
worst
share.
thing as a job seeker is to have someone Google your name and it be like some offender in some state. That's not you. You want to have as much personal branding as you can. So that way, when people are researching you, good things come up. You want to be seen as a thought leader in your field. You want to be seen as thoughtful to your peers. Engaging in professional ways on social media. I forget who recently posted these statistics. I think it was Shelly. So every Monday, Shelly comes out with a job search number, right? If you want to follow Shelly's content, it's hashtag Shelly Says. And every Monday, there's a number, and it talks about the retention rates in terms of negative social media. And these are numbers that these are statistics that employers pay attention to. So do recruiters really have time to go and see if you're posting nasty stuff on LinkedIn or Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or TikTok, whatever? No. However, when it comes down between you and someone else, the hiring manager may do a Google search on you. It may do a social media search on you, or coworkers who you interviewed with, potential new coworkers. Most likely, they're going to do a little bit of digging on you to see, do I want to work with this person? You know, are they glorifying whatever, or are they seem like a decent person? And so something to take into consideration, not to scare anybody, but just to be thoughtful in terms of your web presence. You want to have a web presence that says, this is my brand, this is who I am. And hashtags are one way to help you with that.
Hashtag is one way to help you. Obviously, your profile is the best way to help you, because your profile really should reflect your brand. Yep. It should be what you're trying to portray. And that's also a great lead in, Tegan, to something I'll show, because this comes up all the time. I have a name like Jeff Young. Okay, how did I get found? How did I get, something that pointed people to my profile and got me more hits, etc. Okay, and get something out there. So if you do a Google search for Jeff Young, okay, that's such a common name that here's the results I get. Okay, Jeff Young music, Jeff Young Wikipedia, Jeff Young. Oh well, I got lucky. I got one. That's me. Okay. This is the guy who is the most famous Jeff Young of all, because that's the Jeff Young that's the former guitar player for Megadeth. Oops, not me. Okay, so that didn't work. It did not work for me. So I had to do something that I could give people directions to say, if you're looking for me and you're looking for my stuff, guess what I tell people to look at or look for on Google? Yep, hashtag the LinkedIn Guru. This is all my stuff. You want to see my stuff? Go out and do a Google search for hashtag the LinkedIn Guru, and you will see I get the first 3 or 4 solid pages that is just my stuff.
Yep.
And that's because I've used that hashtag on every single post I've done ever since it got created and as a part of my brand. Okay. Good.
Absolutely. All right. So David just brought up a great point, which I actually want to piggyback on for the banner photo. Are there any copyright concerns for reposting a magazine article? We will answer that question in just one second, but in terms of your banner photo, a lot of people just will download an image from Google Images, and oftentimes they have copyright. So you don't want to just download any image. If you're going to use an image with your banner photo, you want to make sure that it comes from a site like Canva, where it has public, commercial use, distributor use for that photo, or be able to prove that you have paid for usage of that. Because Gillian just had an interesting problem with posting, with having music in her lives like this. So should you come on someone's live talking about what your field is, or even talking about you being a job seeker and how you could benefit the company or something like that, you want to make sure that any noise in the background or any images that you're showing don't have legal things to it, copyright infringements related to it. Yeah. So Jeff, have you ever heard anything with reposting articles?
As long as you give credit, it should be fine, because you're pointing back to the article. I mean, you should not take and copy and paste the article, because that's really your post. So as long as you're linking back to the original article, you shouldn't have a problem, even if it's a copyrighted, and as long as you're giving proper credit. as far as the pictures are concerned, you're absolutely right. Canva, that's why I'm pointing at this. Canva is one of the best places to find those templates, because there are great templates for LinkedIn, including a LinkedIn banner template that you can find there that you can then manipulate. And another place to find free images is a place called Pixabay.com. I've recommended that several times. It's something that you can actually go out there and do searches for particular kinds of things. So if I wanted to go out and search for Superman, I could find a Superman that is a free and uncopyrighted version of that, which actually Superman's so old that he's actually in the public domain now, so it doesn't really matter. But
and we say these things not to scare you from being active on LinkedIn, but just so you're aware of different aspects when you're creating a profile for yourself. So we've got about 15 minutes left in this hour. So as a job seeker, some of the most important aspects to LinkedIn is engagement. So we've talked quite a bit about having a keyword optimized, algorithm optimized LinkedIn profile with tips and tricks on how to, use the hidden features that are most beneficial to job seekers. But it's an advanced LinkedIn training for job seekers. We've got about 15 minutes to chat about it. Is engagement. One of the things is connecting with people. Now, LinkedIn recently changed this. And so on the desktop, on the mobile version, you have to click more.
And personalize and emulate. Yeah.
Yep. But on the mobile version, now there's a couple different options on how to connect with someone. So I don't know, Jeff, do you want to connect with anybody? Otherwise I can do it.
Well, I'll show you. Want to share your screen instead if you get someone in particular in mind. The point I want to make is that it's probably best to do it from the desktop again, because the desktop's the only place that, without knowing exactly how on the mobile, you could send a generic invitation, which is not a good idea. You should always send a personalized invitation. On the desktop version, one of the things that I'd highly recommend is that you never click a connect button unless you see that connect button on the person's profile.
Yep.
Okay, so never click the connect button that you might come up here in one of the suggested ones. Never do that, because it will send the generic invitation. So let's go to this person, who I don't know, but so if I want to do what you should do, and again, everybody's got the same problem. Her profile photo just disappeared, even though it's probably really still there. There's a glitch here. Okay. But here's where I want to click the connect button.
Yep.
And when you click the connect button here, what you need to make sure of is that you add a note here and then send that. Now, LinkedIn, even if you add a note, okay, so you get 300 characters to put something in here. Look at the person's profile first, figure out what the mutual connections are, figure out what the highlights that you might share are. If you saw something that was of interest to you on their profile, say so, okay, when you're trying to connect with them, okay, and then connect with them that way, but make sure you send them a message, okay?
And it's so funny because mine is doing something a little bit different. Let me find somebody I'm not connected to. So when I go to connect with someone,
well, it depends on whether they've got a follow option or not.
That's it. Okay, so that's a great point. So for individuals, for everybody here tuning in, if someone has content creator, the default won't say connect, it'll say follow. Right. So you have to follow them. If you're wanting to connect with them, probably follow them too, and then press connect and then send the note.
Well, no, if someone has a follow option, and I don't know whether I'm going to be able to find someone out here on this, if they have a follow option, the connect button will be under the more button inside of LinkedIn. Okay? Perfect. So here we go. So no, these are people. So they've got follows. So this person probably has a follow button. Good. Yep. Perfect. Okay. So instead of, you don't have to click follow, because when you connect, you're actually following. If your intent is to connect with them, click the more button and click the connect button.
Perfect.
And by the way,
that's how you do it.
And by the way, this even works in terms of people who might not even have a follow button. This person's got a follow button, but the point is that if they're a third degree connection, you still should be able to get to a connect directly with them by looking at more and clicking on the connect button.
Yes. And that's tricky. I had 365 connection requests this week while I was on this long. I went to Florida for a long weekend for a national judges education seminar, and the national championship. And I had 2 personalized connection requests. Everybody, no one else left a message. It's a note. And it's, well, why are you connecting with me? What do you want? And then people will send a note. Can you help me find a job? Or will have some type of bio. And it's like, what am I supposed to do with this bio? Like, what are you expecting? Do you want to pay for my services? Do you want access to one of my free trainings? Are you asking me to post anonymously on Job Connections Tuesday? What do you want? So when you are engaging with people, you want to help them help you. Be very clear and very concise. And while we're on this point, it is Tuesday, so it is Job Connections Tuesday. So if you are one of the 200 something anonymous job seekers that message me each week to post on Dan Groth's page, then make it easy for me to help you, because after next week, I'm not giving feedback anymore on your bios. I'm having my virtual assistant just copy and paste the message from the message and anonymously posting it on his page. And so you need to say, I'm an anonymous job seeker looking for this type of position, ideally in this type of industry. This is the type of background I have. Clear and concise. So that way you're attracting the type of people that you want to be attracted to. And when you are networking with people on LinkedIn, when you're doing the connection invite, so let's say in terms of engagement on LinkedIn, find a similarity before you connect with them. Engage on their content before you connect with them. Building relationships take time.
That is perfect, because that's a lead into a couple of other things that are sometimes hidden as well. Okay.
Oh, let's dive in.
Well, so for example, though, you're perfectly right. I think the right way to start connecting with somebody is probably go out and find their content out here on the homepage feed and start commenting on it. Start liking it, commenting on it, and going through the process, okay? Because you will see stuff that from people who you're not connected with, because the people you are connected with will actually comment on something, and that will bring up someone else's post, okay? Now, one of the things that people talk to me about all the time is the fact that, okay, see, I'm seeing this post because I follow him, okay, Sebastian. Now, Sebastian's a great guy. He's an interesting guy, so I wanted to follow his content. Now, the point is, though, Sebastian is putting out content that I'm not really interested in. Have you ever felt loneliness during the holidays? If yes, how would you address your feelings? Well, I'm really not interested in that particular kind of post. So one of the things that I want to show you that is something that is hidden is that on every single post, you can do these magic 3 dots and tell LinkedIn whether or not you want to see more of it or not see more of it, maybe more importantly. So a lot of people keep telling me that, oh my gosh, 4 out or 5 out of every 10 of my posts on my homepage feed are polls. If you don't like polls and you want to get rid of polls, here's how. Click the 3 dots, tell LinkedIn, I don't want to see this, and then tell LinkedIn, I'm not interested in this anymore. I just told Uncle Algorithm, okay, that I don't want to see that anymore. And guess it. Look, you will not see that post in your feed again. Poof, gone. Same thing on any poll. Same thing on any post. Period. Look at all the polls that I've got out here. I do this constantly to try to get rid of them. And the more you do it, the more it will. There's 2 options. You can either just totally ignore them and hope they go away, which doesn't happen if, again, the people you're connected to are commenting on polls. Okay, so I go out there and I use that option all the time. And some of the other options are, if you are getting stuff from a person that you're connected with, but you're not really that interested in their content, one of the other options is to unfollow that person. You can stay connected with them and unfollow them. Therefore, their content won't show in your feed anymore. Or ultimately, if you really don't want to be connected with this person, you can obviously remove the connection as well. And oh, by the way, again, this stuff is really kind of hidden, but every single one of these has this option as well. If you see something that is not ethical, that is racist, that is hate speech, that is whatever, you owe it to LinkedIn and yourself to report that post for one of those particular reasons that you can see right here. Okay, it's spam, it's fake, it's harassment, it's hateful, it's violence or physical harm, it's adult content. Get adult content off my LinkedIn feed, please. Okay, this is not Facebook. I really never see that, thank goodness. but there's a way of doing that. So those three dots are your friends, believe me. And another thing that is your friend is the like button, the comment button, etc. Like and commenting on stuff is a really great way of telling LinkedIn that I want to see more of this in my feed. So if you actually do see spam, report it, but for heaven's sakes, don't comment on it and call it spam, because the algorithm looks at that comment and goes, oh, you like that, you commented on it, I'll give you some more of that. Who wants more spam? Forget that noise, okay?
So you can control your news feed a little bit, your home dashboard a little bit by who you like, who you comment on, who you follow, if you're ringing someone's bell, which is also a new feature, and by saying you don't want to see this, or by saving posts as well. So Kelly just asked a great question as well in terms of how to find keywords. Kelly, let me DM me for my job search resource vault. Any of one of you who wants access to my job search research vault, just DM me. I also have posted it on the Job Connections Tuesday group site, but you can go under Resume Builder, so under Jobs and then Resume Builder, and see what keywords might be missing for some of the job titles that you're targeting based on your open to work. You can go on LinkedIn Career Explorer and type in the job title that you're targeting, and it'll be the top 20 keywords in LinkedIn's algorithm. So over to the left, it says Resume Builder. Yep. And create from profile.
Yeah, or use the one I've got.
Oh, yep. Or use the one you got, whatever.
Yeah, because that will also get me. There's where it is. And then here's where we talk about what keywords are found and what keywords are suggested.
Yep. And so any of the ones that are suggested, you want to add to your skills section, potentially to some other areas. And you know, it's suggesting Adobe Photoshop. If you've never used Adobe Photoshop, don't add it. You know, you don't want to misrepresent yourself. But if you're saying, oh, fundraising, duh, I've done fundraising before, I should add it. Yes, absolutely add it. LinkedIn Career Explorer is a great one. Jobscan.co is a great one. There's many platforms that you can use to figure out what keywords are associated with your target job title. Now, the best way to go about finding keywords for a job that you're applying is by using the job description. The job description is typically thoughtfully written with what you're going to be doing in that role, and will have the keywords that they want. Business, you know, continuous improvement, project management, cross-functional team leadership, stakeholder management, vendor negotiations, whatever they may be, chances are they're going to be in the job description themselves. And you can use jobscan.co or ResiMatch, websites like that, which I have all listed in my resource vault, which is just a Google Doc. You can just make a copy of it, and it's there for you to use. You can copy and paste your resume and then the job description. But I will say some industries are different than others. Academia, for example, you throw everything in those resumes. And so it's going to be a little different than a targeted corporate search. And if you're a do-it-yourselfer when it comes to making your resume may read more like a job description and less like a performance evaluation. Your resume should read like a performance evaluation, because at the end of the day, it is a human being who's determining if they're going to pick up the call for the initial interview, not an ATS, not an algorithm. And so although we do have to work within LinkedIn's algorithm and LinkedIn's ATS on their job board, it's a human being who's reading it. So you want to be both technology suitable and human being suitable. All right, Jeff, what comes next?
Well, I was going to show, you mentioned the bell. So about a
Yes.
week or so ago, a little over a week ago, my Guru Good News, which is another one of my hashtags in addition to the LinkedIn Guru, was about the bell ringers out there, okay? And the point was I put a post out there. I don't have this yet. When I go looking at people I'm following and connected to, I do not see a bell icon. And that bell icon, just to show you where it would show up, if you go look at a person's profile, it should show up right over here in this lower right-hand corner, just below the banner, okay? If you click that bell, this is another way of telling LinkedIn, and it's, again, hidden for me right now. It may not be hidden for you, but they didn't explain what it was for unless you listened to one of my posts or somebody else's post who announced it. if you go click this bell, what it allows you to do is that's another way that says, I, LinkedIn, would like to be notified of every single post this person does. Wouldn't that be great? This has been something I've been asking LinkedIn for ages. I want to make sure that LinkedIn notifies me when this person posts something, okay? So that's a way of following that person's content as well. I will use that bell to tailor my homepage feed and to tailor my notifications so that I get notified when somebody actually posts something. So I'll be turning the bell on for you, for example, T, okay? But here's my warning, okay? That's why I said fair warning to all you bell ringers out there. There are some people who post 3 times a day. I'm sorry, folks. I don't see how you can do something 3 times a day that I would be totally interested in. So I'm probably not going to ring their bell. I'm not going to tell LinkedIn to notify me every time they post, because that would be 3 more notifications a day.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm going to use that notification bell for people who post maybe as many as 3 times a week, because I want to make sure that I see their content, and I know for sure that their content, because I've looked at it, is quality content, not quantity content. Okay.
Yep.
So
and that is all something to keep in mind if you decide you want to start posting content. Consistency and quality over quantity, please. You do not want to tarnish your brand by just throwing something together because you feel, oh, it's a new day, I got to post something new. No, if you can commit to once a week, great. If you can commit to twice a week, great. I commit to 3 times a week. That's all I want to commit to. Yeah. And that works for me.
Well, let me finish that thought then by talking about my C's again, okay? Because when it comes to content, content is king. You have to talk about something you know. You have to talk about something that you're knowledgeable about. You have to talk about something that you're a subject matter expert about. You have to talk about something that you're interested in, because the passion that you have for that will come through. So C, first C, content is king. The second C is context is King Kong, okay? Because context about who you're talking to and making it important to your audience, as opposed to being about you, is the second thing that's most important. It's King Kong because that trumps content. It has to have the right context. Otherwise, you're just talking to yourself because you're putting content out there, but nobody's listening, okay? So content is king. Context is King Kong, okay? And the third C is consistency. Just like Tegan said, consistency is King Kong's mother, okay? Because King Kong's mother trumps King Kong every single time as well. So consistency from the style and the tone and maybe even the day of the week and the number of times a week, etc. That's what's gotten me a lot of following, because people know that pretty much every Sunday, Monday, I'm going to have a post, and pretty much every Thursday, Friday, I'm going to have a post. Yeah, that's one of the consistent things that makes a big, big difference.
Awesome. All right. So our hour is up, Jeff. Yep. This flew by. I feel like it was a great introduction to LinkedIn for job seekers. If you only set up your profile for it to be LinkedIn optimized, if you only connect with people with a personalized connection request, and follow the companies that you're interested in applying to, you are going to see the change. However, there are a lot of other advanced features and strategies to your job search that if you would like to get some additional training on, twice a month, I do an advanced LinkedIn job search. And so just DM me. I'll send you the Google link, or the Zoom link, where you can feel, there's more privacy because it's not live, and kind of get answers to some of your questions and individualize, well, this is why I want to reach out to them, and really kind of get in the weeds of things. But Jeff, this is fantastic. I've got a bunch of notes written down on things that, because it's a thing, LinkedIn changes. It just changes nonstop. So the LinkedIn trainings are going to have, you watch this in 3 months from now, something is going to change. And so absolutely. We always need you, Jeff.
Well, I like it. Like I said, I get paid sometimes in the comment that says, oh, I didn't know it could do that.
Yeah, so we had a bunch of those today.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. I appreciate it. You're a
Yes.
wonderful host. Thank you.
And for everybody tuning in, Kelly, Sandy, David, we've got so many people in here. Chris, what's her name? Tamara. Did I say that right? And then like
probably Tamara or Tamara.
Even like Bob. Bob has an amazing program. Marty has an amazing program. Gabe has a LinkedIn Connections coach. Just so many people interested in LinkedIn for job seekers because it's constantly changing. Everybody has a different strategy or resource, and it's just fantastic to be able to share those with each other. So for everyone tuning in today, our gift to you was this training. Your gift to us. Please go and follow the LinkedIn guru or Jeff Young on LinkedIn to thank him for his time today because, as he said before, he gets paid in chocolate, Chardonnay. I remembered those two, and Chardonnay is not actually
you would remember the Chardonnay.
but the spirit of Christmas. Okay. Connections, conversations.
Coffee, conversation, and chocolate.
And chocolate. Yes. Okay.
And compliments.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And thank you so much for spending a part of your Christmas week with me. This has been so much fun. I appreciate it.
Thank you. All right. So for everybody tuning in, a farewell. If you celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas. If you don't, Happy New Year. We will all be seeing you shortly. So we are tuning off today.